Hi everyone, I'll give a couple of seconds or so for people to come on, and I'll just wait for a minute. We're going to do an update, a general chat about the evaluation. So it's going to be a long one. So we'll see how we go. Let's get past these notification bits. Let's see if anybody's around. Hello people. Oh, lots of people all of a sudden. So I'm going to talk about the evaluation. What a joke. I've just been onto Anne Ruston's page as well, and yeah, what a joke. So this is going to be a long one. So get up and make a cuppa or do whatever, because there's a lot in this. And hi Darren, how you going? I'm good, thank you. I'm just going to go through this lot, and we can have a chat about it. And thanks to Amanda for and Kathy as well. Hi Kathy, for sitting up all last night and nutting this out. Amanda putting it to the page for us today, so that we can all get all the correct information, not the misinformation that is on Anne Ruston's page. So let's go. So the post I'm looking at is the top post. Hi Linda. And it's a brief rundown on the major points contained in the evaluation. Kathy says she's copying a flogging. This is Anne Ruston, and she's going to go and make a cuppa. Hi Dee. I've never seen so many posts on a page that's calling a minister a liar. Simple as that. But we have the facts and we have the figures here, and they can't call it ironic. They can't call it misinformation, because this is their information, and they still haven't done it properly. Remember, they didn't even include in Hinkler, which is 6,000 people on the card, are not included in this. I know that they did interviews with people on the card in Hinkler, okay, because I know people who went to them and did them. But everybody came out saying the same thing. It was all negative against the card. So I think they just decided we're not going to use anything from Hinkler, because we're not going to get anything positive out of it at all. You know what I mean? So I'll start and I'll go through this, and we'll chat about it as we go through. So it's a brief rundown on the major points contained in the Adelaide University evaluation. We're still compiling and cross-referencing stuff. And so Amanda's left her opinion at the end of the post that I'm now reading, which I'll read out afterwards. Except to say, the report does confirm and validate what we and a multitude of other groups, grassroots, social welfare, Aboriginal, non-Aboriginal orgs, political and community, have been saying for years. That the CDC is having little to no positive or constructive impact for the majority, and is indeed having serious deleterious effects, as in bad impacts. The AU report is extremely limited and at times contradictory, and while a clear explanation of the methodologies is given, many of the caveats are irrelevant, and those that are critically irrelevant are not emphasised as being such, or needlessly word salad. Word salad. Dribble, you know, that's the word I use for word salad, I think. But anyway, so conceding that the AU had to design an evaluation tool as they went, it is sufficient, yet some major issues have been left unexamined. Example 1, mortality. Right, under legislation, the key question that Adelaide University was required by law to answer in their conclusion was, is the program fit for purpose and expansion? Yet this question was not even answered at all, and this is their major oversight by this team, or is the information and conclusions have been removed by the department in its editing process? Okay, so Hinkler trial site is not included in the evaluation, despite again their inclusion being part of the legislated requirement for the evaluation prior to any expansion. So this is where Centre Alliance stabbed everybody in the back. They promised everybody they would not pass this and let it continue without that evaluation done and tabled and being able to see it. But they didn't, did they? They didn't keep up to their word. So Amanda states here, please note, we feel that this report is incomplete and that the LNP have not released the full report to the public. And further, we feel they have heavily amended this excerpt of the report. Even so, this report is damning for the LNP. Had it been released prior to the 2020 December vote, there is no way that this program would have been continued for a month longer than listed end dates, much less a further 2 years. All right. Total number of cardholders that were evaluated was 1,963 people. That's all, okay? At the time of evaluation in 3 sites, there was 5,716 CDC participants, including 1,355 individuals currently recording as living out of area. Only the first 3 sites were evaluated. So that's Kalgoorlie, East Kimberley, Kununurra, the Pilbara, and Ceduna region. So the data, this is... So CDC benefit, 7% number of people who expressed a positive personal view about the CDC policy. Alcohol and drinking. Overall, the alcohol data is as clear as mud. The report states 75% of people had not reduced alcohol, all right, or drunk at all. 75% of people didn't drink at all. So when you're a person like me who doesn't drink, and somebody says, have you reduced your alcohol consumption? Well, it's a mute question because I don't drink. You know what I mean? So nothing's going to change for somebody like me. 75% of people, 8% of people who did drink drank monthly or less. 5%, which is the maximum percentage shown, drank more than 4 times a week. 46% number of the people reporting said they never consumed alcohol before or during the trials. All right? 11% total percentage of people who reported drinking, not to excess, who reported a change or reduction in drinking habits. 6 is the total number of people who stopped drinking after being put on the card. That's even worse than Orima report, because we worked it out last time. They said it was 8 people. Now it's only 6 people. 6 people. 5 years, all this trauma to people's lives, and 6 people stopped drinking after being put on the card. And even then, with the report stating that this result could have been for any one of a dozen reasons or policies in place. Can you see Pixie here? Can you? Sue Max says she's distracted by Pixie. Every time I do a Zoom, Pixie gets in there and everybody notices her. So we're going to make her a jacket with a no cash just debit card thing on the back. So to their credit, the evaluators have noted in item 5121 that the minor reductions in drinking noted could be from other reasons and policy or policing impacts that the CDC. Even so, they, or the department editors, still try to push the government line by stating this means that notwithstanding the important interpretation caveat about the potential impacts of concurrent policies. At the time of the survey, between a third and half of the total CDC participant population surveyed and who consumed alcohol have changed the way they do this. This statement is extremely misleading, if not approval-seeking, as it fails to take into account non-CDC spending and non-problem drinkers and their own quantitative data. The numbers, the real numbers, clearly show little to no change in drinking behaviours among CDC forced participants overall. It's a word salad written to appease the government in the face of an abject policy failure, and it doesn't stand up to scrutiny. Right? As there is also no data offered that evaluated those who are just swapping which for bitch, meaning what percentage of active problem drinkers that turn to drugs as a replacement for alcohol. What this caveat speaks to is that those 11% of people who did reduce or change drinking behaviour were capable of doing so and chose to do so, never had a problem with alcohol or stopping drinking at all. The report specifically doesn't specify how many of these people were problem drinkers or entered some form of treatment. There is no quantitative data from any service or rehab centre in this report at all. A huge absence. So all of these service providers that are getting all this money didn't even contribute with any of their data on their clients. Why was that? I don't know. The large majority of people in this evaluation who report that they do not drink at all or who drink only moderately. It is important to note that when it comes to the behavioural responses that the CDC aims at regarding alcohol, this large majority of the CDC participants has nothing to do with the behavioural change of reducing alcohol consumption, especially the misuse of alcohol. The CDC seeks to achieve. So the qualitative research highlights the frustration these people feel in being subjected to the same constraints which aim to reduce problematic drinking. So you have to look at section 5.9 and section 6.3.3 evaluation team. So again, depending on the definition and the method of risk assessment used, there were between 1 in 10 or 2 in 10 CDC participants who reported the problematic drinking behaviours that CDC aims to influence from the evaluation team. Yet, despite this, they go on to say, evaluators state that around a fifth of CDC population in 3 trial sites considered by this evaluation have reported high-level problem drinking behaviours that the CDC aims to reduce. 0.41. So in one page we go from 1/10 to 1/5 without any clarification. It's as clear as mud. All right? I would say, Michael Gorey says, can the report be peer reviewed? I'm sure there's plenty of people pulling this to bits, not just us. You know what I mean? Financial benefit. 50% total number of people who used to be able to save report they were unable to save money on the card. Oh, what a surprise that is. Because you can't buy things cheap, so you can't save money. Right? And you have to save up to buy things at full market retail price. And you're getting charged this, that, and all the other. And if they stuff up your rents and they stuff up your bills, you end up spending money on default fees. So, of course, people can't save any bloody money. You know what I mean? So, and ones that do have money stuck in there can't get it out to save money anyway. Oh, dear. For every one person who stated they experienced an improvement, there were 2 who were with a worse financial outcome. Okay, CDC participants' ability to save money deteriorated, with about 50% of those who used to be able to save money reporting that they could no longer do so anymore. Table 5-10, 3 out of 4 CDC participants reported that they are in similar financial position to the one that they were 12 months prior to the card rollouts. Of the remaining quarter, 2/3 reported financial situation to be worse, and 1/3 a change for the better. Little or no real-world financial impact data has been recorded here. By that I mean that there is no in-due data on declines of the card at all. No data of the impact of IBAN TT fees and charges, limitations on shopping, etc. on people on the cards. All the truly tragic impacts unable to bury kids, attend funerals, or buy medical supplies that have seemingly been ignored completely or has been removed. There is no data or feedback from banks or small businesses either. There's no data in this thing. You know what I mean? Child welfare. Plus 80% was combined responses of worse or same. The result is over 80%. So see table 5-17. Noting the absurd absence of school data child health data, and any clinical data at all in the report. On child welfare and family well-being, the quantitative data, the numbers, highlights the negative issues, while the qualitative data, which is the opinions, which includes the stakeholder perceptions, was more positive. Talk about shining a turd. So that means that the quantitative data, which is the actual factual data, right, just highlighted all the negative issues. The qualitative data, which is their anecdotal, as they like to say, or the opinions from the stakeholders, was more positive. So your service providers that have got contracts within you are all saying it's rosy because they don't want to lose their money. They don't want to lose their funding. Gambling. 21% of all trial sites reported problems gambling. 14% total number who gambled before CDC. 80% gambled less than once a month. 76 total reporting no change to gambling in CDC trial sites. And let's clarify something. They don't have poker machines in WA. So that means in the whole big Kalgoorlie site and in Kununurra, they don't have pokies. They don't have casinos. They don't have pokies. Only Hinkler and Ceduna have pokies, okay? They can't buy playing cards in WA on the cashless debit card. It's a banned product because they play cards. Well, yeah. Aggressive policing impact. Furthermore, it was noted by some respondents that the local police had become more active in breaking up card games, which were held in parklands, and moving these people on. Occurring concurrently with the CDC, this intervention was strongly felt to be impacting upon the occurrence of public gambling. And that's from the evaluation team. I like that. Annis's Liz Kelly. So in essence, Scott Morrison drinks more than those on the CDC. Easily. You know? So, yeah. Safety. Right? One notable result, Goldfields, 50% feel less safe at night, while 31 to 35% feel less safe during the day. The Goldfields is a mess. And they're bringing in more police, and they've got a security firm running, like, she's doing it for free. She's using her security to roam the streets to help the police. It isn't safe in Kalgoorlie, and they've got big issues. The card hasn't helped. And, I mean, the amount of police they brought in at the beginning, but now they've got to bring in more police. And there's more crime. And we're going, this is their third year on the card, and it's just getting worse. 173 people experienced a reduced sense of safety in the home during the day since the card was introduced, compared to the 2,092 people who reported no change in their sense of safety. 1,387 people reported a reduced sense of safety in their home at night, compared to 1,968 people who reported their safety was unchanged, polling their sense of safety at the time of interview evaluation team. So crime. Domestic violence increased in all sites even after they changed the definition of domestic violence. Assault and robbery increased in all sites. Fraud and black market increased in all sites. Again, crime data supplied does not state if perpetrators or victims were on the card or a Centrelink payment. So again, it's quite meaningless to accept in general terms of outcomes and increases in crime as shown above. Employment. Right? Section 5.10.22. 80% of the unemployed people on the CDC cited disability, illness, or caring responsibilities for not having a job. All right? And Anne Ruston herself admitted in the debates that night in December that they had targeted disabled people and their carers. Okay? And basically, and people who had responsibilities for caring. Single mums, right? Disabled people and their carers. 8.3.1, a main overall finding of the evaluation on the employment front has been that to date and across the first 3 trial sites that the CDC has little impact on employment outcomes. We kept saying to them, it can't create jobs. It could never create jobs. You know? Stigma. Oh, this is a doozy. 97% combined number of people reporting discrimination, embarrassment and unfairness at being on the card. 4 out of 5 people. All right, 5.91 key findings overall. 75, 73 and 75% across 3 sites respectively of CDC participants reported that they all felt discriminated against, embarrassed about being on the card, or being on the card was not fair, respectively. Importantly, the qualitative evidence corroborated with the quantitative findings. They both highlighted the large proportion of CDC participants who felt embarrassed, stigmatised and unfairly targeted by the policy. All right, both methodologies also pointed out towards such feelings of being widespread among all demographic groups making up the CDC population. That's from the evaluation team. Other key points, page 161 covers the examples of stigma, shame being experienced and how it's impacting children. And it is heartbreaking. You know, so 8.3.1, the evaluation found some evidence that aspects of the CDC have been improving, but found no systemic evidence either that the CDC is improving outcomes as it matures, or that the CDC participants are getting more used to it, or that they dislike it less after they've been on it for longer. So Keith Pitt made a comment to somebody that they're relying on the fact that people will just, as we were told in the meetings originally by the DSS, get used to living a different way, and that people have just, you know, they've just given up and they're just putting up with it and just, you know what I mean? They're not fighting back. But they are fighting back, because even when they did this, you know, people are fighting back in different ways. Because they let these evaluators know how they felt. You know, and they still feel like that today. It's just disgusting what's going on. So, 5.2.3, despite the restrictions imposed by the card, many CDC participants with an addiction were described as still managing to find the funds to support their habit. Oh, what a surprise. Because where's their support services? Where's their rehab services? Where is the case management and the help to get people with addictions off? The card can't do it. We've always said all the way along, right? So all the way along, it can't cure people's addictions. And of course they're going to find ways to continue their addictions. Oh dear, oh dear. 8.2.5, over 50% of people on the CDC reporting that their control over their lives and autonomy had reduced. Of course, because you've got some stranger on the other end of the phone telling you what you can and can't do. You've lost your autonomy, and of course that's going to have an impact on people's lives. And it has an impact on people's mental health and their physical health when they get too stressed out, when they've lost control of their autonomy. Especially in the case of the people that have been targeted, in my opinion, are survivors of domestic violence who have had to fight to get their autonomy back and have now lost it again to the government. You know? Forcibly removing people's autonomy, to me, it's like, you want to take my soul away. Do you know what I mean? You want to rip away all I've got left after everything I've fought through in my life, and you expect my mental health to be able to cope with it? You know, no. So 5.12, the well-known problems with transient populations getting trapped on the card when they visit card zones and return home where there's no infrastructure or support is noted here. At least they've picked that up and highlighted the problem. This shows the cultural rights of our Aboriginal people are being impeded due to the length of stay in card zones, and confirms our report that Centrelink staff have been putting people who don't live in card rollout zones on the card illegally, contrary to legislative rollout locations. So we first found out about this when we found out about 6 people from Mulan community, which is about 1,400 kilometres from Kalgoorlie. It doesn't have anything, okay? They have to rely on satellite phone. The school has a computer, and yeah, they can go to one spot in town to make a satellite call. There's no infrastructure for the cashless debit card. 6 people visited Kalgoorlie for ceremony. Now, this is where I found out under the CDP, when First Nations people have to travel, they have to get permission from their provider through Centrelink, and then when they're granted the permission to travel, but many of you people didn't know this, when they get to the next place, their destination, they have to sign in with Centrelink, right? This is part of their conditions of their CDC, their work for the DOLE program. So what's been happening in Kalgoorlie was they would sign in, and instead of being listed as a temporary visitor, a non-resident, the staff at Centrelink were signing them up as residents and issuing them the card. So we first found out about this when this first group of 6 got stuck with the card and couldn't get home, because outside of the card region, they couldn't use the card to get fuel, and they couldn't use it. And I actually rang I rang Indu about this, and actually, so only one time where I got a guy who was really helpful, and he clarified it. He said this was illegal, it was wrong, and he got onto them and he got them off the card. But then there was an article that was released in the media where, even though he's a Liberal person, I think it is Ben Wyatt from WA, he discovered 40 people from Warburton community had fallen into that trap. Warburton community can't use the card there, but they come into town for medical, they come into town for whatever. But that's not a card region. And then we heard stories of 150, and then we heard about 700 cards being held for the Warburton community and those other outer communities that are not on the card. So at least this has been picked up and recognised. But you've still got the likes of Wilson and Bowler in Kalgoorlie that are pushing like hell for all of those communities to be on the card. Despite that there is an Indu card, it's a separate one for their royalties already, okay? But it's not as restricted as the cashless debit card, but they still have a separate card for their royalties. Anyway, back to this. So, where are we? 5.11.1 are the key stakeholder findings. It shows that CDC increased their funding and therefore enriched them all by way of paid employment, created a captive market of people forced onto the CDC, which then justifies the stakeholders' existence and all that money they receive. And as a result of the frustrations experienced by those very CDC captives, the stakeholders felt their staff safety was at risk. This is like TikTok moment. It's quite literally insane. Mental health impacts. Actually, I'll go back to that. So these people that have got their contracts with Indu are relying on those contracts to keep them in employment. So they're a vested interest, and they'll do anything and say anything to be relevant, so they keep getting their funding and they keep getting their wages. And then they're getting upset because people who are trapped on the card are frustrated because they've lost their autonomy. They've lost control over their pittance. And these people are being paid $250,000 to sit there in judgment. You know what I mean? $126,000 was each for the 2 staff last time round for the contract for Hervey Bay, and then the same again for Impact for the staff. Do you know what I mean? $123,000, $126,000. Good contract if you can get it, isn't it? It's disgusting. Mental health impacts for stakeholders and forced trial participants related to the CDC-induced aggression. So basically it's being acknowledged that the CDC has caused mental health problems leading to aggression. And stakeholders are whining about the consequences. Very little mental health data in this report at all, which is not okay, given that the mental health decline is one of the largest reported impacts. Notes. The report clearly shows worsening outcomes for non-Indigenous respondents and the majority of Indigenous respondents, with a spattering of improvements seen in predominantly people identifying as Aboriginal who could have taken up full income management under basics cards anyway. No wonder they kept Hinkler out of this evaluation. Given these findings show that what little improvements that can be found have been reported from Aboriginal participants and decreases in quality of life from non-Aboriginal populations, these findings are going to have huge implications for the Hinkler trial zone, given the different racial makeup of the participants there. So for Hinkler, the majority of people are non-Indigenous. It's something like 86% of non-Indigenous. It's a very small portion of Indigenous people. And it's different too, because in the other trial sites, AB study is on the card, but it's not on the card in Hinkler, which means that your First Nations people aren't automatically slammed under AB study in Hinkler. So they're different to the other three sites again. So, these outcomes essentially reflect the racial divide of the card, and rather than lift everyone, some Indigenous participants have had minor improvements, while non-Indigenous participants have been dragged down. What did Morrison say? We don't believe in lifting some at the expense of others. That lie can be put to bed, as they most certainly are doing just that. I'm just looking at the comments here, is stripping out dignity. I'm just going through some of the comments because it all gets away from me on my phone. It's all very tiny. So, OPED. So this is Amanda's statement at the end of this. To be honest, as a person with 3 degrees in a dissertation and 24 years of research behind me, this is Amanda, not me, okay? And given the cost, $2.5 million, and the time given, 2018 to 2021, I'm disappointed and not impressed. I feel for the team tasked with this nightmare job, but I can't allow that emotion to whitewash the evidence and the lack of evidence and the lack of qualified commentary on the efficacy of the policy. This is another heavily caveated ramble of program justifying mostly qualitative data with some weak quantitative data thrown in, most of which ultimately serves no overall function but to highlight what is already known data. Every question I wanted answered is not answered here, and with the data from both government and Indu not even included, well, it is what it is. Every question I do concede that Adelaide University did give primacy of focus to the legislated objectives as written, a good thing. However, almost every caveat, if not the premise of the entire report, avoided comparison of data to those objectives. Overall, Adelaide University was still relying solely on an unqualified LNP assumption that people on Centrelink are problem drinkers and child neglecting, payment wasting, drug taking individuals. No challenge is made to that assumption in this report, such as political motivations for the card, etc. And its conclusions are fretful, fearful and unclear, potentially demonstrating the mindset of the team involved and fear of potential repercussions. Okay, at least one of the graphs shows a definitive collective reality that greater majority of people, both Aboriginal and non-Aboriginal, benefiting or not benefiting, do want off the CDC in 3 sites examined. That slip of data point matters, as it shows that benefiting or not, people still want off. Sadly, irresponsibly, not one set of impacts reported to the Senate, including death, injury, loss, or any other detailed CDC impact statement, has been included in this report. Not one service group data set appears, not even hospital or clinic data, and no Indu decline data, etc. Nothing. A big reminder to all of this, that this evaluation report does not include a single mention or statistic from Hinkler trial site. Hinkler Zone is the largest group of people on cards now. In Ceduna, there's less than 800 people still on cards. East Kimberley is less than 2,500, and in the Goldfields, less than 3,000. In Hinkler, numbers are well over 6,000 people. Amanda, NCDCA Policy Analysis and Research Grant. Oh my God. So, there you have it. Okay, I thought I'd just go through it all with you guys. And I'm just trying to find comments here that I can. Yeah. Hang on. Okay, God, there's a lot of comments here, guys. I'm getting now. Oops. Oh God, it's moving too quick. So much damage has been done and it continues. Yes, absolutely. Oh, so Anne Ruston is on her page right now, trying to justify the card result based on 2 cherry-picked anecdotal testaments from over 10 contrary statements available. Yes, we saw that. I saw everybody roasting her. So, hang on. Somebody sent me copies. Dan, you made my thing ding. Don't make it ding. Let me have a look. I can't read that. It's too small. You've done it in tiny. Okay, I'll have to look at it later. So, I think I missed that. Amanda said, yeah, it was set up till 6 a.m. going through this, so please forgive any spelling mistakes and tired statements. Thank you, everyone, for reading it through. It helps, and please scroll down and share the heck out of it, of that post. Yeah, make sure you share this post everywhere, right? Because this just blows all of whatever they want to say out the window. And then, if, you know, so there was a comment from Senator Rachel Seward in the comments. The evaluation itself notes the difficulty in evaluating the so-called trials because they were never set up to be properly evaluated. From Senator Rachel Seward speaking in the media today. Yeah, it's just unbelievable, isn't it? Yeah, but share the memes, okay? The memes that are there, because they're all there broken down for you guys. And they're direct from that report. And looking at it I can't believe 6 people stopped drinking. Over 12,000 people on the card at the moment. And only 6 people have stopped drinking in 3 sites. 12,000 people have lost their autonomy, their legal protections under law, their privacy, right? Their human rights protections, their consumer rights, and they've been ostracized, excluded, stigmatized in their community. For what? For 6 people to stop drinking that could have gone to a dry out centre or a hospital and achieved that without spending $255 million. So far, we're not allowed to see any more of the costs, right? Because the costs now are not for publication. And, you know, so we won't see any more of the costs from here on in, what it's actually going to cost. You know what I mean? It's disgusting. So, at the moment, from what we've seen I'm talking total cost, talking of cards, contractors, right, everything. $255 million so far. It's horrendous. And we still haven't found out what Hinkler cost, because that's still under commercial in confidence. We still haven't found out what Kalgoorlie cost, because that's still commercial in confidence. And now ongoing costs are NFP. Christ knows what. Like, if Labor gets in the next election, they're going to have a hard time working out just what's been contracted to, who's been paid, all right, how far does this rort go, and who's made money out of this. Because it is a rort. We know it's a rort, but it's a rort at the expense of the well-being of Australian citizens, right? Grandparents, because even though it's not technically old age pensioners, many of the people that are in WA on disabilities are over 50, over 60. They're grandparents, for God's sakes. Grandparents, parents, disabled people, carers, school leavers, casual workers. You know what I mean? It's like their well-being. A country can't prosper if the country's sick. If the people, their well-being is not looked after, right? Our whole system is punitive at the moment. It's like anybody who doesn't earn $500,000 or $250,000 a year isn't allowed to have any joy in life. That's the way it feels. Because you don't see people really happy anymore. Not the average person. Because they can't afford to be. Because they haven't got enough hours at work. They're being oppressed. They're being kicked around by the Centrelink system, the job agency system, the cashless debit card system. Yes, that's a very good point. Thank you. The comment that's just come up here is the Griffith University evaluated Hinkler, but LNP rejected it and did not include Hinkler in the Adelaide University evaluation. Shelley Bellafield did a brilliant job. She came up here several times. She also sent other stuff up here, and they actually did a really good evaluation speaking to the people up here. It is ideology. It's pig-headed ideology on the basis of everybody's... They're using language from 100 years ago. You know what I mean? To really try and put poor people down and low-paid workers. So, I don't know what Centre Alliance sold out for, but we haven't found that out yet. The fact that he walked out that chamber that night, and he didn't just not go in the chamber, he actually left the building. Right? What a coward Sterling Griff was that night. What a coward. You know, shocking, hey? Absolutely shocking. So, yeah, it was a dirty trick that they did. It's a dirty trick the government did by not releasing this when it was supposed to be released. Because there's no way anybody could have voted for this. If this had been released before, there's no way, no deal. And this is what, you've got people that have vested interest that just don't want to let go of the money. They're scared about losing their jobs. And they're silenced as well. The groups that are involved that are contracted to Indu can't speak up. They can't even speak to Indu about the problems that people on the card have. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I'm just reading comments here. All right, so I might leave you guys with all these there's no value for the expenditure of Commonwealth funds, no, because it's being funneled out. So 80% of the person's payment is given to Indu from the Social Security budget. It's just being given to Indu for free. and they own it on top of the setup cost of the card. And then there's another smaller amount that's an ongoing yearly fee for having the person illegally contracted to their card. So, yeah, sucks, doesn't it? Oh well, I better leave you guys go. I don't know what else to say. Nothing. I've been in a couple of Zoom meetings. There's things going on with workings for events in March, and hopefully I can say something next week about what's being planned throughout a certain week in March. There's going to be some events happening, put it that way. Kathy says, pimped out for Indu to profit from. Absolutely. Indu Limited own 80%. It's not just that they manage it without your consent. It's ironic reading this report when they spoke about people managing their money when the report is third-party income management. Yeah, Doggo looks tired. She's always asleep. Might help if I feed her. I've got to feed her. It's a bit late. But I did my shopping today. She's got her meat supplies. Pixie, she goes out during the day and enjoys the sunshine. And then, here we go, sleepyhead. Look at it. You put your tongue in. She's got no teeth. So when you wake her up, the tongue's hanging out. Yeah, that's a good point. We don't know if they draw interest off of inactive accounts. They did a dirty trick to Jody. Optus refunded some money to Jody after she'd been released from the card, and it went to her card, and it was $121.30. Okay, remember the 30 cents. This is important. So Jody rang Indu and said, well, can I have my money, please, because I'm no longer on the card, thinking that they would just transfer it like they did when she got off the card. Oh, no. They had to do it. I can never remember the name of that particular payment. It's transfer fee. It's a fee that your bank charges $10. Okay. So it's like receiving an IBAN transaction. So it's a $10 fee that your bank charges for receiving money from outside the normal banking sector. So they transferred this $121, okay, to Jodie's account, but she got hit $10 for receiving her own money from the refund from her Optus. And they left the 30 cents on her card, knowing that if she said, send me back that 30 cents, she's going to cop another $10 fee from her bank. Why did they leave 30 cents in her card? That little bit of stress they left her with, Jodie's still not recovered from her heart problems. She's still very, very tired when I speak to her. She's very exhausted. And she still hasn't got the right medical happening. Right, they've just left her be. Do you know what I mean? But there's always that thought in the back of the mind because of this legislation. The minister can put her back on the card at any time. And knowing that they left 30 cents in her account deliberately is, you know, it's in the back of her mind. Is she going to end up back on it again? It already gave her a stress-induced heart attack. And as you could see, if you scroll down the page, you'll see the screenshot where Andrew Laming just absolutely flipped her off when she made a comment to him about it and said, oh, it's unrelated. Well, actually, she's got proof that it is related. She suffers broken heart syndrome as a result of the stress she was put under while she was on the card. And there was actually an article in the media a couple of days ago now, or yesterday, telling people that broken heart syndrome is very real and it damages the heart and it kills people. And you've got Andrew Laming just flipping her off. what an arsehole. That's why I posted up there, because he's a jerk. But anyway, so Glennie says her brother visited today and Pitt was on TV making a goose of himself. Brother says he's a bottomless pit. Yeah. Yeah, Pitt's good at making a goose of himself. All of the, Kelly Marie, all of the accounts stay open for 7 years, even if you've been taken off the card. Those accounts are all open. And we want to know why these people can't legally get those accounts closed, because those accounts were open without those people's consent. So therefore, they don't have consent to have those, but they're being kept open at the request of Services Australia. It's disgusting, you know. So I'm down the bottom of the comments to mess. I'm just, because there's so many comments here. Pixie, they love you, sweetheart. You've got a fan club. Look. Oh, look. So, yeah, she's beautiful. She's 9 now. I mean, what people can do is to keep it in there, even though whatever's going on with our media, is write letters to the editor. All right, write letters to the editor, and just keep it in public domain. We can be our own media here, because we're not a media organisation. So we, touch wood, we're here. We didn't have our pages removed and wake up to blank pages this morning like so many other groups, organisations. Yeah, we were lucky. So we all figured out Pixie needs to have her own shirt. And Kathy and I were talking about it last night. We'll have to do some measurements up so she can we can make her own jacket. You know what I mean? Oh, a lot of you may not know, I started up a TikTok account. Been a bit slack the last couple of days. We can find ways to share news items. You just can't do it the normal way. Don't worry, we'll keep an eye on the media and we'll cut and paste and we'll write the articles and attribute them to whoever. We'll make sure the news that is relevant to us is on the pages. You know what I mean? So we'll do that for sure. Somebody says, can I get some shirts for my dogs? Hang on, we haven't even worked out a pattern to make a shirt for this dog. I mean, she's not even 30 centimetres long. She stands like this tall off the ground. Yeah, can cut and paste stories, screenshot, keep doing what we've always been doing. In the past, there was times where our page was blocked from sharing, and half our admins would get bans. But we found cut and pasting was the way to get around. Darren, it's okay. I can't say. We've got shirts. If you want shirts for you, just send me a message. We've got badges. If you want a badge, just send me a message. For you guys that may not know, there's the badge. No, you can't wear a badge. Put it on your head, Fred. It's not food. Yeah. Oh, Dan's seen my TikTok and the comments. That place is a real cesspit. It really is. However, there's a thing called, was it Aussie Crew Bully? And they're going around really cleaning a lot of the bullies up. You think trolling's bad on Facebook? Far out. But Facebook prepped me for TikTok. I've got such a thick skin now, right, that I don't answer the trolls. I've done a couple of videos saying don't even bother, because I'm not going to give you, they're not going to rent space in my head. I haven't got time for that, right? I've got 60-second videos to be able to put as much information as I can. And so it's about trying to find the best way to make use of that 60-second clip. And what I found is if I put up memes, if I can screenshot them into my phone and then I can put up the memes, or I'm talking and I put up dialogue over the top, you know. But yeah, Twitter is tame compared to TikTok. Absolutely. Right? So, yeah. TikTok is a whole new world. And it's a whole world. It's global. But I noticed the trolls don't have any followers. Their accounts have just been set up. They're listed as private. You could almost put the hashtag paid, you know, that, what's that hashtag, paid comment by the LNP or something. Do you know what I mean? So I've just don't bother engaging with the trolls. If somebody will ask a question, I'll try and I'll try and answer it for them. You know what I mean? But I had one guy wanting me to list all of the who owns Indu and who are all the credit unions, and he wanted a list of them all, and it's like, come here and read the articles that we've got. I'm not doing that on TikTok. That's just, that would be so, oh, no, I'm not doing it. I'll direct people to here where they can read more, and I'll do what I can with the 60 seconds. Do you know what I mean? Sandra says she'd love a t-shirt, so just send a message to the page, Sandra, so that I can get your details, and I can give you the details of how you can order one. And the most important thing is I need your return address, because sometimes people pay for a t-shirt and they don't message me, and it's like, there's money there, but who did that? And then 2 weeks later, somebody comes back to me and goes, where's my shirt? It's like, well, I need your address, mate, you know. I started blocking them, and then one guy said to me, don't block them because they bring 10 times the traffic to your page. You know what I mean? And if they say something too controversial, other people will pull them up. And I found I've met other people that have discussed the card, that are fighting against the card in their own way in different states on that site. So I don't know how to be a creator and do creative stuff. So my page is pretty boring compared to some of the stuff that's up there, you know what I mean? But it's a different realm. I mean, I never figured out how to use Instagram, so, oh, what are you doing? What are you watching? Hello. My baby. Yeah. Troll the trolls. No, I can't be bothered. I just don't have the energy for them. And like I said, Facebook, the last 5 years, I think has prepped me for TikTok. Because I just go, really? No, can't be bothered. I'll answer the people that are respectful to me. The rest of them can go take a flying leap. You know, swearing at me, get a fucking job, doesn't do it for me. You're not going to get a reply from me if you speak to me like that. TikTok is far more popular than any of the other social media, yes. But it's a funny world. And I can tell you now, it's so true. You go on to TikTok, check something, and you can be there for 4 hours. You know, so, yeah. I do what I can. I haven't even ventured on doing any videos on this yet. I probably will. I'll do them in little bits. As I said, on TikTok, you've got 60 seconds. And I remember doing my first video on there, and I was just as nervous about it as the first video I did here, type thing. And, yeah, the more they comment, the bigger the reach you get. Use them to your advantage. That's what I was told by somebody. Don't block the trolls. Just, they'll bring traffic to your page. And they do. I did one article on the young woman that had the issue with the bereavement payment, and the loss of her twins, and she couldn't buy funerary urns and pay for the crematorium, and that has gone over 9,000 views, that one. It's a different realm, you know. I mean, I put something up, it gets between 2 and 3, 4, 500. Some of them have got 2,000 views. It's all over the place. So, Dan says he leaves TikTok alone. He has enough trouble on Twitter. The problem with Twitter is I can't seem to think of anything. Twitter has got people who can write really well, and they come up with really witty stuff. And And I'm pretty boring in my expression, so. Oh, of course. Secret squirrels over at Sawpaws are working on an anti-LMP, anti-card video. Yes. Yeah, there's lots of things happening behind the scenes that I want to spill the beans, but I can't. All I know is, guys, donate what you can so that we can do what we can in March. And yeah, we'll go from there. Buy a shirt, buy a badge. We might even have tote bags. We don't know yet. Somebody's even looking at making some hats. You know, we'll see. But at the moment, I've got shirts on hand. I've got badges on hand. All right. Wow. Mary got banned on Twitter for posting against the card. Took you ages to get your decision overturned to get back on it. Yeah. So our Twitter accounts are at the Say No 7 and NCDCA at No to Welfare Card. I'm a bit lazy. I find I'll go on, and if the Say No 7's already posted stuff, I'll just retweet it. All right? Because at the moment I'm up all night. I'm here all the time. And then in the middle I'm on Twitter or TikTok. The problem with TikTok is it's like 4 o'clock in the morning before you realise it. And your eyes are falling out of your head. You know what I mean? And it's like Twitter sort of like got left behind for me. So Anessis says, I want to thank you for promoting the CDC video of mine. I've almost had 200 views. My first video that much. That's cool. For people who don't know what that's about, if you scroll down the page, there's a music video that was made by Anessis Liz Kelly. She made a song and she published it to YouTube, and we published it on this page. It's what would you call the genre of music that you used? Is it like a hip hop? I'm not sure. So yeah, TikTok plays you ads on TikTok for sleepy eyes. Yes, they tell you it's time you put your phone down and go to sleep. So yeah, we need to post. Yeah, I need to really pull the finger out and post more memes on Twitter. It's just there's only 24 hours in a day, and I'm either on my computer, on my phone, or I'm on TikTok. And in between this, I try and actually get a life, and I watch TV. Somehow, I have the TV on when it's my, and I'll be, it's called multitasking. Yeah, anything you can do, memes, making things, stuff, inboxes. You don't need permission to join the mission. That's right. Nobody needs permission to join us. I've had a couple of people this week asking, how can we join your group? You already have. You're here with us, right? Like the page, share the content, buy the shirt, buy the badge. Help us out when we need the help so that we can travel and we can do stuff. Today, I did all the posting for last week's orders for the badges. I put leaflets in and put them in so, you know, yeah. Sheridan says, TikTok is easier if you post and get straight off it. Don't get sucked into it for hours. I can't help it. There's a lady on there. It fascinates me. Her name's Marie. And, yeah, it's funny what she's... I don't understand what she's saying. But the whole TikTok world is like... Yeah, it's like this poor woman... And there's a lady on there at the moment I'm following. It's her 133 days homeless, and she's got 2 kids, and she's got her updates every day of what she's doing. You know what I mean? And there's another lady, another person put up their story. It's highlighting a lot of stuff. Be content creators, write, sing, dance, protest in your way, and send us the pics to show the world. That's a good idea, actually. I mean, if you want to do something and you want me to put it on TikTok, and because you don't want to deal with it yourself, and you want to do something that's a protest, send me a photo. Send us a video, but it needs to be MP4 format for me to be able to load it to TikTok, so I can load it to my phone and then send it up. So if you've got something creative you want to do, you want to make a sign, you want to make a poster, you want to make a song, can somebody make some lyrics? And let's do something here. We need some lyrics regarding the Indu card. Now, there's some popular tunes that's going around, like the sea shanty on TikTok. If somebody can fit some lyrics and sing it, I can't sing. Trust me, I'm not even going to try. We did this once before, right? Kathy Strickland says, Anne's getting flogged. 238 angry comments and replies. All right? So, MP3 or MP4 for Facebook, MP4 for Twitter and TikTok. Cool, no worries. So, if somebody can come up with some lyrics, let's make a couple of simple tunes, because I'm not musically talented. I'm tone deaf, sound like a strangled cat, I can't sing, smoke too many cigarettes so the lungs are stuffed. So we want an anti-Indu sea shanty. Come on, peoples, let's see what we can do. Ron says he'd be too afraid to break the lens of the camera. Put something over your head, Fred. Right? Or, if you want, we can do it for you, because we can, if you don't want to show your face, but you want to send us something, I can already, Kathy does our graphics. We can put a great big smiley face over your face, or a badge, or something. We can take out your identity. That's not a problem. But let's get some creative stuff going, guys. Surely we can do something that's, I feel like I'm so boring on there, but I mean, this is a serious subject, but we need to reach young people, and young people on there create, there's a lady on there, she's got 1 million viewers talking, and her thing was about her self-esteem and dealing with her body and stuff like that. But doing 4 hours of makeup of stuff. Oh, she's brilliant. I don't know. I'm not a creative thinker, so we need to do something. I'm sure there's people out there that can think of stuff that's creative. I might not think it's good, but somebody else might. You know what I mean? I might think, what the hell is that? Oh, I'll upload it anyway, could get 10,000 likes. Who knows? Don't be afraid. Get involved. You know? Because we need to make sure we can reach everybody. Hang on, Kathy says, I still want to find someone who can perform my Eve of Indu song. Oh, so Kathy's got a song ready. Anybody can sing? Sing her song. See, I just have a croaky voice and run out of air. So, yeah. Surely we can come up with some constructive things to do. So, we'd like to invite Aboriginal groups to Songline about Indu and Basics card, NATSIL's National Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Legal Services, to share reality, raw and real on the ground with people who are desperate to listen and learn. That'd be really good. That would be really good. Yeah. There's plenty of people on TikTok that could carry that song as well, that we'd be able to. As a non-Indigenous person, I wouldn't do it. I would say, please, somebody do it, and we'll get it out there, because that's where you need an Indigenous person to do something on that respect. I feel that's very important, that our First Nations people are represented. We need to find somebody who can do that. So that would be really good. Rebecca says she scares her neighbours when she sings and she sets the dogs off. I turn the stereo up as loud as I can and then no one can hear me singing. That's easy fixed. Do you know what I mean? Except for when Kate used to live at home when she was a teenager. Mum! But anyway, it's rare. Okay, guys. Well, I'm going to call it a night. Thank you for listening to all of the important stuff, and thank you for the chat afterwards. And Amanda Tesla sharing says, does anybody know a band we could do with somebody that's in a band or a band that wants to do something? We need something to do that. Do you know what I mean? We need a choir. That's a good point. You need voices as well. So we need a band and we need somebody who can sing or a choir or something. Okay? Just, I can't. Yeah. You don't want to hear me sing. We tried this in our admin group with trying to sing songs like lyrics to a backing track. And yeah, it was so bad. I actually did it one night on my own page and Facebook took it down. That's how bad it was. So yeah, I don't have, what is it? Where you get the different key changes. Do you know what I mean? Kelly says, would it matter if they're a bit heavy alternative? Not really, as long as we can hear the words. Got to hear the words, okay? I can't handle, what is it? Death metal, where you can't hear. Kathy says, yeah, the Shady Bunch. I just couldn't do it. And it ended up, Facebook took my video down because it was that bad. Right? The Shady Bunch, yeah. Oh dear. Yeah, no. Ron says he sings in the shower. I just crank up the stereo. Do you know I would love to do? There's a video on YouTube by a band called Kent, right? And when you look it up, you'll see this lady standing there in white makeup with the black eyes and the face. And it's a musical piece with drums. And I would love to do a rally with that at the front if people want to find it. It's an amazing piece of music. Okay. So, yeah, the band I'm thinking of isn't that Scream. Can't understand. Not really. It's just not real easy listening. Well, as long as people can hear the words, you can have a rap song. We've got a hip hop one that's on the page already. You can have another rap one. You could do a sea shanty version. You could do a band version. There is lots of opportunities. We just need creative people to, hey, we can do this. Do you know what I mean? The Shady Bunch video on Sawpaws Media. Go check that out. No, I didn't sing it. Definitely not, but oh dear. Oh yes, I remember. There's another song on Sawpaws Media that's a bit of a hoot, but it's too naughty for here. It's I see you next Tuesday song. Go check it out. It's hilarious. Yeah. For sure. I remember that. It's a pity the other version got pulled down, but this version's good. Yeah, so see you next Tuesday song. That's the way I'll describe that. Oh, God. Kathy says it needs updating to reflect the new research. Oh, there's lots of things we can do. And as a community out there, I'm sure there's lots of people that have got lots of talent. Look, if you want to help out with stuff, just send me a message in the message box. As I said, any video stuff needs to be MP4 for Twitter or TikTok. And if you don't want your face involved, let me know and we'll edit it out. We need a song that is individuals can sing and post individually, but the same song. Okay. We need something that gets stuck in your head and people can't, people can't forget it. Do you know what I mean? So like we could do with something to do with the sea shanty while that's still pretty hot on TikTok. And this is did a poem on Scotty from marketing. We keep stuff card orientated here. Is we don't go off topic much in this, you know, because we focus on our card stuff, even though we know a lot about all the other stuff, which this bloody government sucks at all levels. For sure. I'm still reading comments here. Yeah, so we need, or if people have got ideas for different tunes, then we still have to try and find lyrics, but whatever. We can do all sorts of stuff. We have social media platform that is huge. We just need to use it correctly. All right, okay. Call Australia song. Just change the lyrics. Is that the one, we are one, we are many? We are Australian, or is that still Call Australia home, one or the other? Yeah, whatever you guys want to do. Surely people can be a bit more creative than what I can be, that's for sure. I can't paint, I can't draw, I can't sing, and I definitely can't dance anymore. Whatever. All right, well, I'm going to say good night because I think we're getting a bit, I don't even know how long I've been on here. It's 9:30 now, so I've been over an hour. And I'm sure you guys need a coffee break or a pee break or something. So I'll come back on another time and we can have another chat. We might maybe try and make it so that we have chats once a week or something, apart from stuff that needs updating. Do you know what I mean? So we call Australia home. Yeah, Better Sea Shanty. That music is non-copyright. That's good. Thank you for observing that for us. So that's Creative Commons. And a lot of people have changed the lyrics to that. Yeah. So we just need somebody who can do it and have a decent voice. And doesn't sound like a strangled cat. Okay, people. Well, I'll say good night to you all and take care of yourselves. And, yeah, anything you need, just pop it in the inbox. All right? Night-night, people.